Aaron Tuttle here. It's storm season in Oklahoma, and with that comes torrential rain, high winds, and hail. To protect your home and your family from these threats, the one roofing company you should trust is Ferguson Roof Systems. They've been providing the best in roofing services for nearly half a century. Ferguson is Oklahoma's full-service roofing company, certified with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and a 5-star rating on Google. And with Ferguson now offering Class 4 impact-resistant shingles, now is the time to trust them with your home's roof. Get started today at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist back with you. Meteorologist back with you? What's my name? Yeah, that guy. I'm back with you. This guy here. Hey, it's 10:15. I'm a little late to my own party. I'm allowed to do that after I gave you guys a big lecture on being tardy. What happens when you're tardy. Anyways, thanks for checking in out there on Facebook world, YouTube world, Rumble world, and Twitter X world. What are we going to call that platform? Are we calling it Twitter X? Are we calling it X? Are we still calling it Twitter? I'm really confused. So, whatever. Back on that one. So welcome over there, guys. Okay, so thank goodness I'm not sitting here doing tornado coverage for another 5 hours straight. Nobody wants that nonsense, especially me. So it's nice to get a little bit of a break, I will say. We do have storms out there, though. We're going to talk about that and your stormy future here across Oklahoma and see where that's going to lead you to. If it's the promised land or not, we shall see. All right, let me load up everything, get it all going. I was working on my website and stuff, so I was late because I was tinkering with code. I'm always trying to fix stuff because stuff always breaks. So as a matter of fact, I'm going there now just to see something real quick. That's what I thought. Irritating. All right, got an email to a developer of one of these little plugins that's not behaving. So whatever, is what it is. Okay, so let's get on with it. Out there currently, we have some cloud cover, just a little bit. Temperature of 74 degrees here in my backyard. It is nice and quiet. If we do look out there over the state, we do have a wind field that is out of the southeast, as it's been all day today, and a little on the gusty side as well. Temperatures are actually pretty pleasant this afternoon. And we are now back into the low 70s statewide. If you look here, though, a little patch of wind up around 60 miles per hour. So I believe we might have ourselves a little heat burst. Although temperatures really aren't that much warmer, only a couple degrees, but the winds have kicked in. There's some storms down here. We'll show you those right away. Here they are on the radar view. And you can look down here into southwestern Oklahoma and into northwestern Texas. This is where this activity is originating from. It's just slowly developing and moving off to the east. There is nothing here that is tornadic. This is just your standard, typical heavy rainfall, lightning, a little patch of wind, and maybe still some leftover hailstones. Now, there were some tornadoes earlier today. They had 3 tornadic supercells in the Panhandle. One way up here around Spearman. These guys saw a brief tornado here. These guys also saw a brief tornado, lasted for all of 15 seconds. That's the way we want them, short-lived. Here east of Amarillo, they also saw a tornado there, and that was a more of a longer-lasting one. And then we had one down here, southwest of Memphis, and looks like also several reports of a brief touchdown around Turkey. So there you go, 3 supercells that were rotating enough today to produce such a thing. Here in Oklahoma, though, we had pretty much no storms at all up until just now here in southwest Oklahoma. So things are quiet up till now. Basically the storms, although they did develop in the spot they were supposed to, they did not move. They were supposed to just kind of keep moving east today in the data, although the prevailing winds were pretty light, but the models insisted, but they busted, so it's still out here in southwest Oklahoma, so they got a ways to go. We'll have some new development, though, here overnight here in central Oklahoma, so we're going to detail that forecast for you. Before we get any further, just a little quick update on the storms from Saturday. The Weather Service has been out there, obviously, looking at all the tornado damage, and I believe we're up to 27 Yeah, 27 confirmed tornadoes here that they are investigating as far as tracks and strengths are concerned. So we have a new EF2. This is for Knox County. This is in Texas, by the way. So some of these will not be Oklahoma because the Weather Service office in Norman does cover parts of northwestern Texas. So there's a couple of EF2s there. The McLean County Goolsby, of course, was an EF2. Carter, Ardmore, that stays in EF2. The Murray, Pontotoc for Sulphur, that stays in EF3. The Spalding one, just west of Holdenville, it's also an EF3, a very large one, 1,760 yards wide. Let's see. So remember, there's 3 feet in a yard, so roughly 3 times that. You get just about a mile wide almost. All right, let's go over here to Love Carter for the Marietta one. Marietta, that is a EF4 still on the books. So the rest of these, though, were all either EF1 or EF0, kind of 50-50 on both. So that is a look so far. I think they still might have a few more to go, but otherwise it kind of bumped up our April total of tornadoes compared to what it was before we started the month. So there is a risk of severe weather tonight. It's way down here into northwestern Texas in just that little segment of southwest Oklahoma where we showed you. The tornado probability is just a 2%, just everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. So won't get into that, but extremely low to zero basically. Wind and hail kind of isolated here in this little area for these little storms. Now that's for tonight, and then tomorrow, no risk of severe storms that they have. Do they have this in there? What day is this for? Let me look here for the 3rd. Okay, so not tomorrow, for the next day. All right, for Friday. So up there. All right, so there we go. Let's talk about where do I want to go? Yeah, we do this one. This is a water vapor loop, which just shows storm number 1, I guess you could say, is up here. And there's nothing here kind of in our realm. We're just kind of in a weak westerly zonal flow, a slight southwest component to it. But otherwise, a lot of the stuff here is just old school forcing. In other words, just daytime heat, some surface boundaries, such as the outflow boundary from this morning, and then a dry line and some, like I said, daytime heat and little humidity with the dew points coming in, and boom, you get yourself some storms. And just a little bit of shear left over. If we look at the next several days, because somebody's already asking me in the chats, slide into my DMs and going, hey, we're getting severe weather for Monday. I'm like, man, can't you people take a day off? So here's a look at the AI algorithm for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So primarily it's focused on, for our area, really for that Monday and that Tuesday. This might be like a lingering from Thursday night, kind of a midnight deal. I didn't investigate, but that's probably what that's for. So anyway, so it looks like at least the eastern third of Oklahoma on Tuesday, which means the body of the state on Monday. All right, the little tornado predictor called NATOcast does have a little bit of a hint down here in northwest Texas and that little batch here across central Oklahoma. And we'll tell you why that is here in a minute, although I'm not really overly excited about it. Let's take a look here at the upper levels of the atmosphere. It's our jet stream pattern where you look at the upper level energy coming in, little disturbances. So here's that bright color zips through here for overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So that's a little round of storms there. And then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, there's another little round of storms here indicated in the flow. Little weak disturbances that come around. Otherwise, all the big energy is up here into Canada, just spiraling around. So a little bit of a break, as far as what we normally get this time of the year. Let's see, here is Friday night. And there's that little ditty there coming across North Texas. All right. And then here comes a new one coming off the west coast on Sunday morning. So I guess that's going to be our Monday storm system. But until then, that little weak disturbance that kicked in here for Saturday night, Sunday morning, looks like it's kicked off quite a few storms. So we're still kind of in a stormy pattern, even though there's not a lot of what we call brute forcing. In other words, big storm systems that come in from the west. Just an overrunning westerly zonal flow. Here's a look at the mid-levels of the atmosphere. The red indicates a brighter lift. So overnight tonight, we're going to have that lift moving through here, southern Oklahoma, and up here into Kansas and northern Oklahoma by tomorrow morning. And then that kind of continues in this fashion. This is along a cold front that's be zipping through, I'll say zipping through, crawling through the state is more likely. Anyway, for the afternoon, so there you go, mid-morning to midday. So that lift continues there in the data. And that moves into southern Oklahoma, North Texas for tomorrow night. So that means there's where your lift goes for our Friday night, clearing things out elsewhere. And let's see. Let's zip on into Friday. There's a little something there in Texas mostly. All right. And then here is Saturday morning. That should be that little signal we saw in the data. Yep, there it is. Some more lift on Saturday morning for some showers and storms, it looks like. And then let's move that on out. And then on Sunday morning, look at that big chunk of lift. Good grief, that's a massive signal for rainfall. A lot of these are overnight stuff. Have you noticed? Can't seem to get daytime storms anymore. Although tomorrow we'll break that. All right, so here's a look at the position of the front, dry line, all that kind of stuff here in the dew point map. So let's zip this through because I want to show you where that boundary is for tomorrow at lunchtime. So lunchtime, it has this little weak front. It's a little weak sauce front that's just kind of slowly coming in. So it is a very slow-moving boundary. Now, with slow-moving boundaries, sometimes you have to watch for the freak tornado occurrence because sometimes if a storm can ride along the boundary and the storm is moving at the same speed as the front, it can ingest the little spinning, little bit of baroclinicity along that boundary. And the storm relative motion tomorrow with inflow is from the southeast. Okay, and the storms themselves will also be moving, I believe, kind of parallel to the front and slow. So in theory, it's a long shot, but we might squeeze out a tornado here along this frontal band sometime around lunchtime or so, middle to late afternoon. Lifting condensation levels, in other words, the cloud base might be a little high though. Let me just do a quick point forecast sounding here, Canadian County. Lunchtime, we'll see. Yeah, they're still a little high. So it's a little harder to produce a tornado in that aspect, but the shear for the first part of the day still looks pretty decent. So yeah, maybe we might squeeze out one or two for tomorrow, which is a little bit different than what I had figured we would see because the wind shear does weaken by afternoon. Let me go to like 4 o'clock, for example. We'll just stick it down here in south central Oklahoma. So look at the wind field here. It's a lot less. It's like 10, 15 knots. And this is actually some of the better model data. Some of the other model data has this almost nothing, like 5, 10 knots. So, but it also has a high cloud base still. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not overly excited about it. If one or two happens, it's a freak deal along the boundary. It's probably my best guess for the middle of the day, but we shall see. Regardless, that's what's going to cause our storms for tomorrow. Then that moves on south. A little slightly dry air moves in here for Friday, just barely, and then it comes right back. Looks like for Saturday in the morning hours, looks like another front comes in, moving through central Oklahoma, hence the early morning stuff. So just kind of one run after another. That's why it's kind of, sometimes you have to take these one day at a time because they get really complicated, and then the message lost, and you forget what day is it supposed to rain, when was it coming in, and once you've done that, you've already lost it. So point being is scattered showers and storms off and on for the next few days, and we're just trying to fine-tune the dry windows for you at this point. All right, so the lifting condensation level, like I said, for tomorrow, a little high. This is what these brighter colors indicate. So that's kind of an offset for tornado production. They do come down a little bit by evening, late afternoon to evening like they normally do. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. All right, let's go into the tech. I want to see what this guy has to say. So it has those storms there in northwest Texas, southwest Oklahoma, stuff up in Kansas. Kind of zips through southern Oklahoma tonight, kind of grazes the metro. You do get a little bit of stuff in northern Oklahoma. Then there's tomorrow. So in other words, this model is fairly dry overnight for the body of the state. Then there's that stuff for tomorrow afternoon. It's got a little helicity track here across Oklahoma City, for example, and then moves on through, and there's another round up there. Let me go look at the forecast sounding, see how this one differs from that one we just looked at a minute ago. So we'll zip it into, let's see, 20. So we'll go 26. So, not bad. Shear is a little weak here, around like 2, 3, 4,000 feet. So the weaker the shear at the lower the levels is an offset for tornadoes. Like I said, unless you've got a boundary to kind of compensate that. So otherwise, it seems to have some pretty decent instability to work with as that front does move in around lunchtime for tomorrow here in the metro. Okay, so let's take a look here at the 3-kilometer NAM, see what it does. Those storms there in southern Oklahoma. There's some bunch of stuff going on there in North Texas overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Heads up in Dallas. Just rain, standard stuff, thunderstorms. Let's see, there's that Kansas stuff moving in across northern Oklahoma from all across the northern counties, slow moving. So there's that line developing along the cold front. And that continues to migrate on across the state for the afternoon, moving into Arkansas, kind of falling apart a little bit. And there's that whole new cluster down here in Texas. Looks like it takes a run for Dallas and Fort Worth, but then skips it and heads south into the central part of the state. Has a little squall line down there. It's a little wind maker for those folks into Texas. And then it gets a little quiet. And then, let's see, next big round looks like comes in on Saturday morning out across the panhandle of Texas and moving into Oklahoma. All right, here's a close-up view of that across the Sooner State. There's our stuff here for tonight. So, look, in Oklahoma City, it's not overly excited about it, if you noticed. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder, patch areas of rain, that's about it. Otherwise, you have to wait for this big line to come in tomorrow. So there's lunchtime. So there's a front stretching from just about Tulsa northward of Bartlesville with the rain through Stillwater, Enid, Ponca City, down to Oklahoma City, down to just about Elk City into southwest Oklahoma. So hour by hour that moves on through. So by the time we head to drive time, quit time, should be moving out of Oklahoma City and then lingering a little bit in Tulsa and then moving out into southeastern Oklahoma for the rest of the afternoon at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And then it's out of the state for the evening. So it looks like we do get a little resurgence of some late evening stuff way down south. Just some popcorn storms down across McAllister, etc. Then it's quiet. And then we're into Friday. And pretty quiet on Friday. And there's that storm that comes in for Saturday morning. So just to see what the shear profile looks like at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. So, of course, it has a cap in place, so it'll be elevated storms. Winds a little, they're off in the same direction. So, yeah, typical just squall line. And then I did see a hint of a couple of isolated storms Friday late afternoon to evening way down here in southern Oklahoma. Just a little hint way down here. Yeah, look how weak this little wind shear is. That's a 5-knot wind barb, so anything goes up will be weak and pathetic down there, which is good. Okay, let's go to the HER, which is our other high-resolution model, which stinks, by the way. Recently, anyways. It's got that cluster there down south, so maybe it'll finally wake up and do some good. It does clip us, Oklahoma City here, at 3 o'clock in the morning with some thunder. All right, that moves into southeast Oklahoma for the remainder of the night. And then for tomorrow morning, there's that line coming in. Much like the NAM, has that cold front lighting up like a Christmas tree. It's a little slower, so it keeps everything north of Oklahoma City through about 2 o'clock. So it's about a 2-hour difference in time of arrival. Otherwise, let's see, it doesn't have nearly as much robust storms around it. It does move to the south and east. Stronger storms there, looks like around the Wichita Falls area. Let's just take a quick peek. 7 p.m. forecast sounding down here. Should that pattern evolve correctly? Big hail makers. Again, winds only around 10 knots, so should not be a tornado producer. It had to be on some type of boundary for that to happen. All right, and then up here in Tulsa, that's a pretty meaty one here at 8 o'clock. Again, it's assuming that the HER is right, which the HER hasn't been right, so I wouldn't put too much stock in the HER. But also shows winds being extremely weak. There's about 10 knots at most of the lower elevations, so basically a hail and a little bit of a wind deal. All right, so that continues to move through for Friday night, and then as we head into Saturday, or Friday, good grief, Aaron, today's Wednesday, so Thursday night, my apologies, back into Friday, here we go, dry still on this one as well, a couple of little hints of some weak stuff, Friday afternoon, yeah, shear's not impressive, yeah, you may get a thunderstorm out of that. All right, so that's Friday afternoon. It's an isolated storm or two up in northwest Oklahoma. So, and then the big stuff again comes in the night. Now, long term, we talked about threat of some storms on Monday. So you have to have cape and shear. So let's take a look here. This is our cape and shear as we head into, ironically, Friday afternoon, which didn't have much with it in the data. So let's go to Saturday. Anything that comes in? Nope, we just go to right past Sunday and a Monday. So here's Monday. So there's our cape and shear environment, just overall. So if I were just to kind of pick something, I'll pick central part of Oklahoma for Monday afternoon. As usual, have a nice cap in place. Otherwise, they got plenty of instability out there. We just need a trigger and something to break the cap. So it's usually the dry line, which is set up out here in western parts of the state. So that'll be marching east, looks like, according to the data. So we'll watch for some storms in here on Monday. All right, and then let's see, Tuesday, looks like all the Cape and Shear is in northern and northeastern Texas, like Dallas, for example, down here on Tuesday. You guys have actually a pretty decent forecast profile. Cape values over 4,000. Big significant hail over golf ball size, and Shear looks pretty decent. So maybe that's your severe weather day down in Texas on next Tuesday. Let's see. All right, so now let's see what else we got. I'm still looking. Another potential severe weather day for Wednesday in the same spot. Now, these Cape values are really high over here in eastern Texas. 5,000 plus joules. I'm curious what the sun looks like. So they're in the mid 80s over a dew point of 77. Oh, that's gross. If you don't know what a 77 dew point is like, you get on a plane here in Oklahoma City. You fly to Hobby, and you walk off the plane on the tarmac, and you're gonna feel what 77 feels like. It's like you'll turn into instant water. Anyway, after that, pretty quiet. Let's see, we got another day. There's a Tuesday the 15th. So the GFS is going to have to come around if it's going to produce more storms for the peak of our severe weather season in the middle of May, because right now this thing's fairly quiet. So it has a couple of days of instability next week, and that's about it. European, we'll use that for the forecast for some storms over the next few days, to kind of give you the idea long term. So we have our storms there on Thursday. And then here's our storms are they going to show up Friday night into Saturday morning? There they are, moving through the state. So Saturday, expect some scattered showers and storms. Now, you notice it won't be like a washout. Like, look at the speed of this, for example. This front coming in. So there's Saturday morning, and then there's midday Saturday. See, it's already cruised through 2/3 of the state, and then there's the afternoon and evening. So that's a good news. So it's not like it's a washout, which is nice. Kind of hit the rain, move it, and move it on. Okay, so Sunday, or Saturday night rather, still some leftover, looks like showers. Where are we at? They're in western Oklahoma, Saturday evening. Then overnight, sprinkles. Okay, that moves out. Sunday, a little action here. Kind of just scattered around. So you might have to dodge some rain this afternoon, or Sunday afternoon if you have some plans. Doesn't look too bad, though. Excuse me. Let's go on into Monday. So there's Monday midday. This particular model has us capped, looks like, so no storms at all. Then it's got the front coming in Monday night across northern Oklahoma, where the cap's a little weaker for some nighttime storms. And then Tuesday does nothing. Wednesday has a little storm down in Texas. So overall, kind of quiet, even though we have a little Cape and Shear that builds up. Looks like, according to the European, the cap holds and stays mostly quiet. Let's look at the long-term rainfall amounts. Let's go through the weekend. So let's go to Monday morning. All right, a blend of models through Monday morning has widespread 1 to 2 inches across the northern half of the state and 2 to 3 inches across the southern half of the state. And each model has a different look to it. UK Met loves northeast Oklahoma for a lot of rain. Icon model, about the same as the blend. There's the American model, like North Texas. European, just kind of a blend, and also European. So there you go. So some still more good rain coming if you need it, hopefully. Here's a look at temperatures. 70s for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then we're into the 80s for next week, and I do not want to see this nonsense. That's too close to 90. So it looks like it's going to be a little hot and humid coming up. So if you like that kind of weather, your Bermuda grass certainly will come up May 7th and 8th. That looks like our hottest spots. So but the cold fronts that come in here, the next two, the one for tomorrow here on Thursday, followed up by the one here Saturday morning, are going to keep us on the cool side, which is nice. All right, so that's pretty much your entire weather update. I don't anticipate doing any, cut-ins or anything tomorrow. I kind of keep an eye on things. I might still do my lunchtime live for your Thursday. But outside of that, I don't anticipate doing tornado coverage. But if that happens, then if it looks like one develops or is going to, I'll definitely cut and let you know about it. But as always, I'll let you thank you for using my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. It's free on Apple, Google Play. I know some of you have installed it in the past, and it was either flaky or it was crashed on you or whatever. I know, I get it. Anytime an app doesn't work for me, I boot it. I got no time for that. So a lot of you are patient though and hung in there. So it's a process. There are many different devices, and it's not easy to get an app to work on every single one of them. So, but again, this app is free and it predicts tornadoes. So it's a pretty neat feature to have, especially this time of the year. So even if you don't want it for the rest of the year, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. Load it up for May and June, and then you can unload it. How about that? How about we strike a agreement on that deal? There's a lot of people though that use it, and it saves their lives. So I don't know. It's out there for you. Also, thanks again for watching on the different social platforms that I have. Make sure you tell your friends and family about AT's Weather. Everything that we've done here for the last 10 years, since 2014, on the video side has all been organic. And then 4 years prior to that, when I started the Facebook page at 2010. So we're only here because of you. So as long as you keep giving your support and keep spreading the good word, then we'll still be here. And that's pretty much how it works. All right. I know, Missy, there are a few ads on the app. So there is, I will tell you this, a little secret for you. So there's 3 ads that will pop up on the app in a 24-hour period. So in other words, let's say there's storms one night, and you're using it to track storms, your house, your friend's house, your kid's house, whatever. And you open the app, close it. Open the app, close it. After the 3rd time, there's no more ads. So you can rapidly open and close it if you want, just to get out of the way, or you can do it once or twice and let it surprise you whenever you do it during the day. But that's the cutoff on it. So it helps to pay for all the data and stuff, because weather stuff is expensive. All right, and Ken wants me to go all the way to the end of the month. You're insane. If anything, what you should learn by now is that although forecasts have gotten a lot better over the years, they're not quite that good. Maybe AI will help us into the future. Next 10 years, maybe we'll see what happens. But the biggest issue is the data input. Remember, garbage in equals garbage out. So you have to have better inputs, and what we really need is more instrumentation. So that can be in the form of a lot of things. It can be more sensors at the ground level. It can be more balloon launchings from the National Weather Service at not only different times of day, but more inputs across the country. So again, the more data you can feed in, the better those models are, and then the better even the AI will be. Because other than that, everything else is just interpolating and extrapolating. So that gets you in trouble sometimes. Increases the error. That's it for me. You guys have a great night. Again, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next broadcast. Sleep well, sleep easy, and we'll see you a little later.